Hey there, in here. I know you're looking at a black screen. Give me a second. Now, we're going to talk about a subject that I honestly haven't gotten into because so many other people share it. And I figure that I don't need to do that. Here, let me do a check. Good. So many other people cover it that I didn't really think I needed to. But then seeing a couple of channels share some of the cards from the game, I figured maybe it was time I took a second look. And I found the origins, or, where it came from, the origin story. I did not know it was a series of books. So we're going to, real quick, for those who don't know, go over a quick summary of the game. And then we're going to look at the books where it sprung from originally. And as usual, with what we're seeing now, there are a couple of possibilities, and I want you to keep these in the back of your mind. Either A, it's predictive programming. They're showing us what they're going to do. Yeah, we know that. B, they are doing more than just showing us, they are making it happen by writing about it and putting it in the collective consciousness, so to speak. So we're creating our own scripts, basically. Or C, whoever is in charge of our media now is taking bits of other media, like books, like fictional media, and putting it in our news and telling us it's real. Um, and the thing is these events that occur in our alleged real world, they only happen in the same few cities, and it wouldn't be too hard to have a couple of cities full of actors and actresses, because Lord knows there's enough television shows out there. And there's the other possibility beneath all of this, and that's our real world is, for whatever reason, recorded and put into media, like the Truman Show. Um, I started thinking that that was a possibility when I saw the old Noah's Ark videos of the old movie, the quote unquote movie, because the amount of effort and work it would have taken to make that, the scenes in that movie, and because real people did die, they say, making that movie, and because of the expressions on people's faces, doesn't really look like they're acting. So keep these options in the back of your mind. Now, real quick, I always ramble before I start. How does this relate to my real life? Hold, please. I gotta do an inhaler. This is a bad month for me. It has always been this way. Thank you. Um, when I met my spouse, we met at a flea market, but it wasn't just like a run of the mill flea market. They called it that. It was more like a market where I had never seen anything like it. It was an hour outside of Pittsburgh, and there was just farm animals and food and vendors and estate sales, or what do you, auctions. And for like a city girl, it was just wild to me. But anyway, we met there. And at the local flea market where I grew up, when we went to that one, we saw somebody selling these cards. And I ended up buying a stack of art cards. It was paintings and stuff, but they were, collector cards, like little baseball cards or whatever, just like the game. And he sat there and he talked to this guy forever. But again, all of this stuff is in like my background. And I didn't take any liking to it. Like, I didn't care for the idea. I thought it was bizarre then, and I still think it's bizarre. I think it's funny. May 2018, that's when I went to Florida and everything went berserk for me. It, again, is my internet gaslighting me? Plasma is alive. We have plasma screens. Am I just being gaslit here? I don't know. All right, so the Illuminati is a card game made by Steve Jackson Games, inspired by the 1975 book, The Illuminatus Trilogy, by two different people. The game, well, let's give them their credit, by Robert Anton Wilson and Robert Shea. The game has ominous secret societies competing with each other to control the world through various means, including legal, illegal, and even mystical. It was designed as a tongue in cheek rather than serious, meaning it was supposed to be satire. It was supposed to mock conspiracy theories. It contains groups named similarly to real world organizations such as the Society for Creative Anachronism, I've never heard of that, and the Symbionese Liberation Army. It can be played by 2 to 8 players, depending on the number of players a game can take between 1 and 6 hours. What I think is weird is my kids and even people in my generation started playing that Cards Against Humanity. Like, why would you even play something called that? It just doesn't sound like good mojo or whatever. You know what I mean? It just doesn't sound like something you want to mess with. I don't know. Words have power, but whatever. The genesis of the game, September 1981. Okay. All right, so we're not going to go there. We're going to go to, most people know what this is, right? You've seen the cards. Let me see if I can show you this tab real quick. There we go. Most of you have seen the cards by now. They are very occult, and I'm sure you've seen the one that has the guy that looks like Trump. He's real angry. Looks just like him yelling. I mean, it really does. It's wild. And they call him the Orange Man, and it's just so funny to me. He's kind of gold, isn't he? He's kind of gold. Like a golden idol. Okay. Let's go back over here. I'm going to click on this, the Illuminatus Trilogy, and go there. Okay. So this is the book series. Let's see. First collected edition, 1984. Okay, so it's a set of 3 novels by American writers Robert Shea, Robert Anton Wilson, at first published in 1975, before I was born. The trilogy is a satirical, postmodern, science fiction influenced adventure story. Now, listen, and this is where it gets weird because, again, we're living in an idiocracy, right? These guys wrote this on a lark. A drug, sex, and magic laden trek through a number of conspiracy theories, both historical and imaginary, related to the author's version of the Illuminati. The narrative often switches between third and first person perspectives and non linear narrative. It is thematically dense, covering topics like counterculture, numerology, and Discordianism. Basically, it has every conspiracy theory you could ever think of mashed up into a couple of books, okay? And every group is involved in trying to maintain control or gain control of people's minds, basically, of the plane, right? Of everybody. Thematically dense, it just means that it's covering, like, again, it's multifaceted. It's not just covering like a political standpoint, but it's also a spiritual and societal take on life, if you will, on reality. Okay. Now here's where again it gets weird. The trilogy comprises 3 parts, which, oh my gosh, I didn't know one was called the Golden App. Shut up. See, this is why I do research with me's live, because like I didn't know that was in there. And again, I've stayed away from this intentionally. I just don't mess with certain things. I don't know. Certain things rub me wrong from the beginning, and so I leave them alone. The trilogy comprises 3 parts, which contain 5 books and appendices. Wow. So they're like really, like they give you lore, right? They give you everything. No wonder it was turned into kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons type of board game, role-playing game. Okay, so the books are called The Eye in the Pyramid. That's the first 2 books are in that one book. And the whole thing altogether it's more than a series, it's like a compendium, right? So you have The Eye in the Pyramid, that's the first 2 books. The Golden Apple, that's the next 2 books. And then Leviathan, part 4 and 5. The parts were first published as 3 separate volumes from September 1975. So on, look at this. In 84, they were published as an omnibus edition and are now more commonly reprinted in the latter form. In 86, the trilogy won the Prometheus Hall of Fame Award. And see, we name everything this, and it's a surprise to us that we're still in Rome or Egypt or whichever. I mean, pick one. That's why there's pyramids everywhere. Pick one. They're all the same. The authors further dealt with its themes in fiction and nonfiction works. Illuminatus has been adapted for the stage and as an audiobook has influenced several modern writers, artists, musicians, and game makers. Oh, geez, the popularity of the word Finord and the 23 Enigma can both be attributed to the trilogy. Oh, like the 23, that's another Jim Carrey movie. I always forget that one. Funny. Okay, so here's the narrative. It should sound very familiar to you. The plot meanders. I am sharing this tab, right? Let's just do a quick double check before I get too deep into things. Here we go. The plot meanders between the thoughts, hallucinations, and inner voices, real and imagined, of its many characters. Oh my gosh, it sounds like an old Woody Allen movie. Ranging from a squirrel, oh my gosh, to a New York City detective, to an AI, wow, as well as through time, past, present, and future, and sometimes in mid-sentence. Okay, so basically it's a cluster muck, except insert an F where the M is. Sometimes it is from first person, sometimes it's third person. You can bounce from, like, sometimes it's somebody telling a story, so it's flashback. Sometimes somebody's seeing something that's not there, so it's a hallucination. Sometimes it's something happening or gonna happen in the future. So it jumps all over the place. Much of the backstory is explained via dialogue between characters who recount unreliable, often mutually contradictory versions of their supposed histories. Their supposed histories. That's interesting choice of words there. Reminds me a little of like the Matrix, don't worry, darling, type of vibe there. There are even parts in the book in which the narrative reviews and jokingly deconstructs the work itself. So it makes fun of itself as it's going along. So here's the summary. The trilogies, and this is like, it gets very deep here. So kind of try and hang in there with me. Like I said, I just skimmed through to see how long it was and figured it's way too in depth to try and make a 10-minute upload of as usual. So here we are. The trilogy's story begins with an investigation by 2 New York City police detectives, Saul Goodman and Barney Muldoon, into the bombing of Confrontation, a leftist magazine, and the disappearance of its editor, Joe Malick. Discovering the magazine's investigation into the you-know-whats, the endings of JFK, RFK, and MLK. The two sound familiar? The two follow a trail of memos that suggest the involvement of powerful secret societies. Now look at how many links there are in this, okay? So I know not everybody likes WikiLeaks, but they put Assange in jail for a reason. Like it's nice to have it all in one place and you can go in and debate certain things and get things removed or added. So it seems pretty, it's more fair to me than fact checkers. I don't know, than like Snoops, you know? Okay, excuse me. They slowly become drawn into a web of conspiracy theories. Meanwhile, the magazine's reporter, George Dorn, oh, that's a weird name. That is like a comic strip name. Having been turned loose without support deep in right-wing Mad Dog. Texas is arrested for drug possession. He is jailed and physically threatened at one point, hallucinating about his own, you know what, ending. The prison is, well, you can read. And he is rescued by the Discordians. Now, hold please. Discordians, like that's a real thing. And we talked about them briefly. Oh, hello. That's nice. It's been a long time since I had a laptop. Discordianism is a belief system based around Eris, the Greek goddess of strife and discord, and variously defined as a religion, new religious movement, virtual religion, or act of social commentary, though prior to 2005, some sources categorized it as a parody religion, which is true. So it is, again, wild to see these things that were joked about. People are making things of, like, and this is it's a religion now, like, it's a thing. And discord means just like you're causing chaos or discord. This is why all these groups have kind of joined back together, because like they're the same thing. Led by the enigmatic Hagbard Celine, captain of Golden Submarine. We all live in a yellow submarine. That's a Beatles song. Boy, that's a rabbit hole in and of itself. Don't get me started. Golden Submarine. So we're seeing this word again. And this again is why I do research with me lives. Look at that synchronicity. This is wild, guys. Hagbard represents the Discordians in their eternal battle against the Illuminati, the conspiratorial organization that secretly controls the world. He finances his operations by smuggling illicit substances. Now, check this out. The plot meanders around the globe to such locations as, I couldn't be more surprised, as Las Vegas, where potentially, watch this, a deadly secret U.S. government developed mutated anthrax is not just a band, it's also a toxin. Has been accidentally unleashed. Atlantis, where Howard the Talking Porpoise and his porpoise aides help Hagbard battle the Illuminati. Okay, do you see what? It is so ridiculous. They have all of these truths mixed in with like these outrageous concepts, right? A talking porpoise and just like all these other bizarre things, okay? Chicago, where somebody resembling John Dillinger was killed many years ago, and to the island of Fernando Poo. And yes, I did click on that, and it is a real place. The location of the next great Cold War standoff between, look, check this out, and the Soviet Union wishes, aka Russia, China, and the US. Now remember, we're reading Wikipedia, folks. This is a plot for a game. This is filed for now under entertainment, and my disclaimers are in the description bar. But are you noticing a theme here? Because it gets worse. And again, I just skimmed it. I didn't go word for word, but it gets deep. Okay, so the evil scheme uncovered late in the tale is an attempt to immanentize the eschaton, a secret scheme of the American. Now, listen. We talked about this, okay? I shouldn't have to say a whole lot here. Oh, hello. Didn't mean to do all that. My apologies. We've talked about some of my feelings on some of this. So I should not even have to tell you this whole chapter here from the evil scheme down to 1999. Pay attention. All right. Again, I just skimmed, but I got enough of an idea. So the evil scheme uncovered late in the tale is an attempt to immanentize the eschaton, a secret scheme of the American Medical Association, an evil rock band, just remove that, to bring about a mass human, you know what? The purpose of which is to what? Release enough life energy to give eternal life to a select group of initiates. Hold, please. That's partly true and partly false. I told you the other reason was to bring the Antichrist, like all the way, to bring that spirit through, the one who was going to inhabit, to make that happen, folks. Like an unholy black mass, like the reverse of a Catholic mass. I don't even. All right, I'm going to keep going because this is all a little triggering. It's all very personal. It's in my testimony, yada, yada. The purpose of which is the release of enough life energy, loosh, to give eternal life to a select group of initiates. Gee, isn't it funny how people's faces are changing? And now a lot of them are getting really skinny. Maybe they ran out of their food supply. I mean, I'm just saying. We got, Jessica Simpson and Sharon Osbourne and Madonna and Kelly Osbourne, who actually I really like. Um, but I'm just saying, maybe somewhere along the line, somebody ran out of a food supply, or somebody knows something and they don't want to be part of the food supply. Let's keep going. The purpose of which is the release of Nefelush to give eternal life to these initiates, including dun, 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 Adolf Hitler. Insert the Antichrist name there. The AMA are revealed to be 4 siblings. This is so funny to me. The last name is Sour, who comprise 4 of the 5 mysterious Illuminati primi. The identity of the 5th remains unknown for much of the trilogy, which actually plays really good into an RPG game if you've ever played any. Because that can be like you, like your character, or like the unknown, right? There's that thing again. The first European Woodstock Festival held at Ingolstadt, Bavaria, no, place of origin of the real historical Illuminati, also known as the Bavarian Illuminati. That's what they were when they first come into being, when they were incarnated or whatever. That's what they were called, and that's who founded them, and that's where it happened. It is the chosen location for the gigantic sacrifice of the unwary victims. They don't know, they're unwilling, via the reawakening of hibernating, you know what? The N word right there, battalions from the bottom of nearby fictitious Lake Totenkopf, a literal translation of contemporary American English's deadhead. It's not a real place, or it's not a real lake, but that's what they called it. The plot is foiled when, with the help of a 50-tall incarnation of the goddess Eris, the 4 members of the AMA are killed. Hold, please. Eris, who's that, you ask? Right here. Goddess of strife and discord. This is the one that did the Discordians follow, or whatever, I would assume. So she's the sister of Eros, or Eris, the god of war. Okay. Let's go back. Sorry about that. I just wanted to show you. The 4 members of the AMA are killed. Wilhelm is killed by the monstrous alien being Yog Sothoth. I feel like that's, what is that called? An anagram, when you can make a word out of all the letters. Wolfgang is shot by John Dillinger. Winifred is drowned by porpoises, and Werner is trapped in a sinking car. Remember, folks, this is fiction. Just pay attention because it gets deep. The major protagonists, now gathered together on board the submarine, are menaced by the Leviathan, a giant pyramid-shaped, single-celled sea monster that has been growing in size for hundreds of millions of years. Hold, please. There is a movie right now on Prime, and I'm trying to think of it, that has that exact image as the movie thumbnail or poster, whatever y'all call it these days. It is like you see the silhouette of a triangle, but then you see like these, almost like these tentacles, like coming out of the triangle, and then, of course, inside the triangle, there's like the one eye. Wow, God, it's like deep. Like these people take their religion seriously. This is why lukewarm Christians are like fine with them. They want you to be lukewarm. They're good with you if you are a lukewarm Christian. But the second you start like fasting and denying yourself and getting used to like being, just having less, right? Because then they can't laugh when they try to take it from you, and sometimes they achieve that, and it's all throughout your life. I never realized how it kind of rolls along, no matter where you go, what you do. There's always that 1 or 2 or 3, or it starts out as 1, and then it's 2, and then it's 3. It just, and not all the time. And yes, we should all absolutely work on ourselves and continue changing. The problem is when we look at one individual and decide we're going to bully that person through like condemnation of spirit. There ain't none of us here that's innocent of anything, or that's innocent, anyways. So it's wild that they say that this sea monster looks like that. I'm going to try and remember the name of the movie, and I'll either share it on my page or I'll bring it up here at the end. The over the top nature of this encounter leads some of the characters to question whether they are merely characters in a book. Sound like anything else? What should sound like the plot to The Sound of Madness. And again, we're going to get into typecasting too, because once you look at the amount of people who've been in similar movies and played out similar plots, you start to wonder, what am I actually watching here? And you can say, oh, well, they just don't have any new ideas. They don't have any fresh ideas. Okay, yeah, that's true. But then start watching the reactions and start asking yourself, is anyone that good of an actor or actress? And if so, why isn't that person up there winning awards then? Because it doesn't happen like with big people, right? Like their lives are already watched. It only happens with people that you don't notice it right away. Like we were talking like with Jennifer Connelly and the guy from, ironically enough, The Mouth of Madness. And that gets deep once you start looking into like publishing companies, and it's wild. Okay. So these people all die, and then they start wondering if they're just characters in some book because all this is too outrageous to be believed. Now that's the problem we're living in today. Everything is just too outrageous to be believed. My question to you is this. Think of this and nothing else right now. What is it where you live? What is it like? What do you see when you go outside and you look up and down the streets? What are you seeing? What are you experiencing? Is it all just on the screen, and the screens are how we are policed? Has it always been that we police each other and AI kind of keeps things in order? Has it always been this way? And they're just now, things are just now being revealed. And if things are now being revealed, you have to ask yourself if we are finally getting truth, if this is truth we're getting. And again, I'm not saying what truth, I'm just saying these are questions you should ask. Ask yourself, why now? Why are we getting truth? Is it to like brace ourselves for some like big dark thing? Or is it more like the end of a play where everyone takes a bow and then we all laugh about it and go have drinks after? Which choose your adventure game are we in now, right now? Or are we all just observers of the screen? Does it ever leave the screen? Is your real life, everyday life, bizarre, highly strange, different, off the wall? When did it start? Has it always been that way? Was it recent? The more you notice it, the worse it gets, or the opposite? If you ignore it, it goes away. I'm curious. I want to know. And these are things I think we genuinely should be asking. So they start to ask if they're just characters in a book. It says this metafictional note is swiftly rejected or ignored as they turn their attention to the monster again. They're distracted, right? Look at this big dark monster. Oh, okay, we're going to go back to this again. The threat is neutralized by offering up their onboard computer as something for the creature to communicate with to ease its loneliness. Finally, Hagrid manages to defeat the Illuminati Primi and travels to Alpha Centauri in 1999. Wow. So that is like a lot, right? It's a lot. Just that little bit, reading that little bit of the plot line is kind of deep. All right. So let's continue here. Characters. Now we have, I guess we should kind of pay attention, right? Characters are Carmel. he's a bimp. I don't know if you could say that word or not. He's a plimp living in Vegas. Freeman Hagbard Celine, FHC, leader of the Discordians and a central protagonist in the Illuminatus trilogy. George Dorn, that name is so weird, reporter for the Confrontation. That's what it's called. I feel like, and do you see how because they're writing everything in satire, do you see how it's almost like certain words are subliminal too? Like this guy is a reporter for the magazine or whatever called The Confrontation, and then you have this confrontation with the Leviathan. And just little things for you to notice. Saul Goodman, New York City detective, Rebecca Murphy Goodman, Saul's wife, Howard a porpoise, Joe Malick, he's an editor of The Confrontation, Mao Su Si is an Illuminati recruiter, Simon Moon is an anarchist, Barney Muldoon, I feel like I've heard these names before, is a New York City detective, Tarantula, Serpentine. Oh my gosh. Tarantella Serpentine. An Illuminati trained, you know what? Gee, you don't say. It sounds stormy. Markov Cheney. Oh wow, your real name. A little person on a cross country mission to spread chaos. Fish and chips. Ah, you get it? Like fish and chips, but fish and chips. A British secret agent. Harry Coyne. A perverted assassin. Robert Putney Drake, a mob boss obsessed with the occult, because you've got to have a reason to bring that in. All right, so we read what the titles are, but wow, this gets a little deeper. The titles of the 3 volumes are parts. The front covers were titled The Illuminatus Part 1, The Eye in the Pyramid, Illuminatus Part 2, The Golden Apple, and Illuminatus Part 3, Leviathan. Refer to recurring symbols of elements of the plot. The eye in the pyramid refers to the Eye of Providence, which in the novel represents particularly the Bavarian Illuminati and makes a number of appearances. For example, as an altar in a what? A what? Tattoo. Nah, they just get those for fun. Don't mean nothing. You're kidding, right? Doesn't mean anything. Oh, boy. The golden apple refers to the golden apple of discord from the Greek myth of the judgment of Paris. I've never heard of that. That's different. I've heard of the blue apple. In the trilogy, it is used as the symbol of the Legion of Dynamic Discord, a Discordian group. LDD. Oh, that's mean. The golden apple makes a number of appearances, for example, on the cover, on a black flag, and as an emblem on a uniform. Leviathan refers to the biblical sea monster Leviathan, which most of us know, which is a potential danger to Hagbard's submarine, Leif Erikson. And Leif Erikson, if you are too young to know or too old to remember, he is who I was told founded America. And then suddenly it wasn't him anymore, it was Columbus. I actually have a book, a child's book. Leif Erikson was a redheaded Viking, a very large Viking who apparently, allegedly, discovered it too. Just like France founded it, and then the Brits founded it, and who else? I can't keep up with all the crap we've been told. And it should make us mad. There's nothing wrong with being mad. Now, there's something wrong with breaking like other people's property or even your own property when you're mad, right? But there's nothing wrong with being angry. A lot of things have gotten done throughout history due to people being motivated through the anger at injustice. And that's a righteous anger. And being lied to your whole life is an injustice because you don't really know how to bring yourself up then. And yes, you kind of do bring yourself up no matter what if you don't have roots. And that's why it's done. So most of us know that Leviathan is a sea monster, and it was also used in when Trump was in the first time, wasn't it? That lady, that speaker, what the heck was her name? I forget. Anyways, she said it. It was allegedly the name of I don't even know what to say, like a secret bill type thing. Or a secret like tribunal or something they were talking about. I don't pay attention to politics. I honestly just don't know. I'm sorry. Okay, so we can get into publishing history, because I've mentioned this a lot of times. Publishing companies are weird, guys. They're just weird. If you look at where books come from, it's like the same few publishing company, and just like everything else, they all come out of like New York, Chicago. I have not really read anything out of LA, but yeah, publishing companies seem to be a lot in New York, Chicago. A couple might be in Pittsburgh, but bigger cities, you know what I mean, that have a high profile. And it's just like, again, it's a monopoly. You have the same few companies. I bet you if we looked at publishing companies, I would be willing to bet that you would have, when you got to the root of it, it would be Mormons, Catholics, the government, of course. And then you'd have to have some, there'd be a few different, but I'd be willing to bet if they, just like with everything else, just like with the media, BlackRock, like that says it all. I will never trust anything ever again after seeing how 2001 played out, and now with BlackRock, and then 2008 with the Ponzi schemes and just all this. People knew it when I was younger. Like, we were raised, or at least my grandparents knew, not to trust people in suits and ties. And now we have people teaching in churches with suits and ties, and everybody looks up to these guys who work on Wall Street because, man, they must work really hard. Look at how much money they must spend on that suit. He's really got it made. Man, they're just gambling with everybody else's money. Like, that's all it is. It's legalized gambling. And we allow the fact that it controls our economy is corrupt in and of itself. And now the fact that, like, we have that happening again, and they're tightening they're tightening restrictions even more, probably now, with if what we're seeing goes, if what we're seeing happen between Trump and Musk, if this bromance continues and they get what they've been aiming for, and again, I'm not political. I don't get down with either side. I want whoever does what's best for the country, but I think they're all actors and proxies anyway, and I pretty much know this for a fact. But not everybody does. That's why I'm here and why I do this. And so I don't talk down on people who don't know that, because it's been a hard wake-up call. And it can really send you for a loop if you don't really see how things work. And that's all Wall Street is like legalized gambling with other people's money. It's a Ponzi scheme in and of itself. I apologize. It's been a very hard time caring for my dog, so I'm going to take the moment to have a cigarette because I'll probably have to go care for him again soon. Now, do we want to read about the publishing history? Not yet. I want to go here first, I think. Okay. So this is where, like I said, it gets very deep, and this is why it couldn't be a 10-minute upload. So this tells you the Illuminatus trilogy covers a wide range of subjects throughout the book. They include discussions about mythology, current events, conspiracy theories, and counterculture. Again, this is why it makes such an awesome game, because you have all these different categories, so you can have all these different cards and all these different moves, and I can actually see it being fun. So it says conspiracies. Although the many conspiracy theories in the book are imaginary, quote unquote, these are mixed in with enough truth to make them seem plausible. For example, the title of the first book, Eye in the Pyramid, refers to the Eye of Providence, a mystical symbol which derives from the ancient Egyptian Eye of Horus, and it's erroneously claimed to be the symbol of the Bavarian Illuminati. Well, then why has everybody got it tattooed on them? Well, they're worshiping money. I get that, Some of America's founding fathers are alleged by conspiracy theorists to have been members of this sect. The books are loaded with references to the Illuminati, the Argentinum Astrum, many and various world domination plans, conspiracy theories, and pieces of Gnostic knowledge. Many of the odder conspiracies in the book are taken from unpublished letters letters to Playboy magazine, where the authors were working as associate editors while they wrote the novels. That basically means that they stole stories, and they're not going to tell you where they got them from. People like me, who where they pick my brain for ideas and stuff, kind of similar to that. Like, they're just, and they're anonymous. Like, they're not going to tell you where they come from, and they may or may not be true. Again, this is still Wikipedia. Accept, receive, and believe only what you choose to believe. And again, the other option is that everything we're seeing on the screen, all the news about all the mysterious crashes and things being missing and people being ended, it's very possible it's all generated by AI, that none of it's real at this point. Okay? And that it's been like that for a few years now, at least. Okay, so where else? Playboy. Among the oddest was the suggestion that Adam Weishaupt, founder of the Bavarian Illuminati, ended George Washington and took on his identity as president. I have never heard of that. That's wicked. No wonder he'd go from being a good guy to being like a bad guy. This is often noted in Illuminati conspiracy discussion. And it kind of sounds like the man in the iron mask. And it sounds like what I was talking about with Project Paperclip. I think a lot of us have twins and are just unaware of it. They'll call them clones, but it just means twin. Proponents of this theory points to Washington's portrait on the U.S. dollar, which they suggest closely resembles the face of Weishaupt. Now, this part's weird. I just, again, skimmed it, so I don't know everything about it, but Fnord, the nonsense word Fnord, invented by the writers of Principia Discordia, is given a specific and sinister meaning in this trilogy. It is a subliminal message technique, a word that the majority of the population since early childhood has been trained to ignore and trained to forget both the training and that they are ignoring it, but which they associate with a vague sense of unease. So basically, what is wrong with you? Sit down, little girl. Basically, it is a word that they hypnotize people with. Think about like Roddy Piper and They Live with the glasses, like where it says, eat, marry, fornicate, consume, right? It's basically like that. But this word, they relate it to unease. So anytime they put it in like an article in like a newspaper, like my dad's generation, like that's the first thing he would do is read the morning newspaper. So they would put it like slip this word in with certain articles to make people feel uneasy and a feeling of dread. And they did it on purpose, right? And then it turned into like this joke. This is another theme you'll see throughout the Illuminatus book trilogy. Okay, that's where we're at. I know it gets deep, but hang with me. So, in the book trilogy, thus in the game, you see numerology being used a lot, right? It is given great credence by many of the characters with the law of fives. For anyone who doesn't know, let's click on it real quick and not assume. Oh, there's a redirect. Wow, excuse me. That's not cool. Can I hover? If I hover, will it? I'll look it up and I'll post it. I don't know it by hand. Again, this occult stuff, I try not to like absorb all of it. Some of it, like sacred geometry and stuff, and 369 with Tesla, it's good to know. Law of fives, I don't really know. But like I said, I told you 5G, five guys. We're seeing five a lot. And if you read in the Bible, there ends up, besides the Antichrist, there ends up being five other names. Like son of perdition is one. The beast is obviously another one. False prophet, that's three. There's actually five besides the Antichrist. I just thought that was interesting. Anyways, the law of fives. All phenomena, she's going to tell us, are directly or indirectly related to the number five. He gives away the secret when he adds, given enough ingenuity on part of the demonstrator, that's the very model of what a scientific law must always be. A statement about how the human mind relates to the cosmos. That's interesting. But Oh, and here we go with this guy. Robert Anton Wilson claimed in a 1988 interview that 23 is part of the cosmic code. It's connected with so many synchronicities and weird coincidence that it must mean something. He just hasn't figured it out yet. And again, um, for the typecasting video that we're going to do in the future, Jim Carrey is in that movie 23. So another theme you see prevalent in the Illuminati series, thus in the game, is counterculture. They were written at the height of the late 60s and are infused with pop counterculture ideas of that time. For instance, the New Age slogan Flower Power is referenced via its German form. Now, again, a lot of this was modernized when the Illuminati, when this was made into the Illuminati card game in the, what did we see, 80s, in the 80s? So you see a few of these things change a little. It says the book's attitude to New Age philosophies and beliefs are ambiguous. Wilson explained in a later interview, I'm some kind of antibody in the New Age movement. Of the rewrite, we deliberately threw in a couple of references to it, but we had worked out the structure on our own, mostly on the basis of the nut mail that, again, they're referring it to mail that you used to be able to write in, and these corn magazines in the back of them, these sensual magazines, would have stories that men allegedly wrote in. Everybody knows, though, that these are fake. Ha ha, big joke. That's the thing about this, though. Again, they're throwing in enough truth. Now it says, the prevalence of kinky you know what in the story reflects the hippie ideal of free love, and you still see that in our culture today. It's even worse. The use of mind-altering substances, um, and on it goes. So another theme you see explored in the Illuminatus book series, thus in the card game, is cognitive dissonance. This is when no matter how you try to wake somebody up, they won't wake up, right? No matter what video you show them of 2001 from any angle, they don't get it. I myself, I'm starting to think that the actual planes were holograms. Like, I legit am starting to think that, just because of the way it kind of disappeared into the side of the building. It like it didn't look like it went through the building. It looked like it just blah 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 blah, but like it just ended. You know what I mean? Kind of like in the old computer Snake game, where you could tell like the lights were just lighting up, but it looks like a snake while you're playing the game. I don't know how to explain it. Anyways, moving on. Cognitive dissonance. Every view of reality that's introduced in the story is later derided in some way. It means no matter what is brought up later on in the story, they question it, like gaslight it. Is this real? Could this be possible? I don't know. Whether that view is traditional or iconoclastic. The trilogy is an exercise in cognitive dissonance, with an absurdist plot built of seemingly plausible, if unprovable, components. Ultimately, readers are left to form their own interpretations as to which, if any, of the numerous contradictory viewpoints presented by the characters are valid or plausible, and which are simply satirical gags and shaggy dog jokes. This style of building up a viable belief system, then tearing it down to replace it with another one, was described by Wilson as guerrilla ontology. What? It's what? Let's read that one more time for anyone who's not paying attention to the purpose of this channel as a whole, is to dissect current events to see if they're biblically plausible or relatable, and to also find the truth in them. This style of building up a viable belief system and then tearing it down to replace it with another one. Anytime you tear something down, you're going to have a vacuum. Something's automatically going to replace it. What's going to replace it? Right now, they're trying to tear down everybody's ideals that they have right now, no matter what it is. Right now, it's our faith in the government, right? And they're going to replace it with something. Oh boy, are they? And everybody's cheering for it. And Elon's sitting there doing that with his hand. Oh, no, it's not what you say it is. You're just, and as soon as somebody says you're not being nice, basically, you're being racist. You're not nice. You're not nice for saying that Elon knows what he's doing there. You're not nice. He's really, really rich. He can do whatever he wants to do. I'm sorry, but I don't I don't like if this stuff is real, the way they're representing, the country and where I live, I don't appreciate it and I don't find it funny. I just don't. So it's called guerrilla ontology. It's a practice described in the book. It's called the basic technique is to study the study of being. The guerrilla approach is to mix the elements of each book that the reader must decide on each page how much of this is true and how much of it isn't. And that's a real thing the CIA did. Like you'd have to get back into like Vietnam to look at all that, but that's an actual thing. Just like gaslighting and propaganda, all these young people on TikTok have no idea what's happening to them. And most people that don't want TikTok, oh, you don't want TikTok? Cool. We're going to flood YouTube with it in compilation videos, whether you want it or not. Ask yourself why. Why are they doing this? They're not censoring it. They're flooding it. They're saturating. What are they hiding? What real news or what are they trying to repetitively get in your noggin? Something subliminal that's good for you, bad for you, helpful to you? Is it truthful? Is it true? And if it is, okay, why are you telling me and what's your motivation for telling me? These are questions we should all be asking. And I am not a teacher, but I don't mind passing along the things that I have learned, things that I maybe should have learned sooner, things that maybe I should have shared sooner. I don't know. But time is already like up. Right now, they're just having their reveal. Ha ha ha, na na na, na boo boo. And again, this is why they started this in the nursing homes, because everyone that was here for World War II would recognize what is happening right now here, wherever we are in America. So this postmodern lack of belief in consensus reality, meaning the majority rules, right? Up until a certain time, this was a Christian nation. We understand that everything's based on the Bible, even units of measurement. Cubits is in the Bible. That's how God measured things. That's what they use in mathematics. That's what they use when programming computers. But they want to tear it all down. They want it all gone. Ask yourself why they gave you all digital cameras and all digital phones. So they can wipe away the last 20, 30, 40, 50 years, maybe. It's easier that way. The Egyptians knew what they were doing, man. They carved everything in rock. But all this can go away in a second. So can paper. Which really makes me think about like the flood in a different way. Days of Noah, was it to stop like, I don't know, like water is funny with electronics, So it just makes you wonder. Anyway, so it's saying this postmodern lack of belief in a consensus reality, meaning there is no majority. Everybody's broken off into their own little sects, is a cornerstone of the semi-humorous chaos-based religion of Discordianism, extracts from its sacred text, the Principia Discordia by Apocalypse the Younger, are extensively quoted throughout the trilogy. It incorporates and shares many themes and contexts from Illuminatus. So again, it is steeped in mythology and occult lore, okay? Shea and Wilson dedicated the first part to Gregory Hill and Carrie Thornley, the founders of the religion. So for them to like tongue in cheek you and say this isn't a real religion, but they dedicated the book to the founder of the religion and it plays a big part in the book, should tell you how real it is. Okay. The key Discordian practice known as Operation Mind Muck is exemplified in the character of Markov Chainy, a play on the mathematical random process called Markov chain. He is an antisocial dwarf who engages in subtle practical joking and deliberate attempt to cause social confusion, which sounds like a trickster. And some of them are known to be like trolls, dwarfs, all the little midgets, whatever. I don't know what they call themselves. Fairies, the fae. There's all kinds, okay? And I'm a little-ish person myself. They cause confusion. They cause tricks. They play tricks, right? One such joke involves the forging and placing of signs that are signed by the management, leading people to believe that they are from the management instead of the midget, that contain absurdities like slippery when wet, maintain 15 miles per hour. Self-reference, this is something else mentioned in the books. There are several parts in the book where it reviews and jokingly deconstructs its own self. So it makes fun of itself. Its allusion to other works. Now, it nods on and leans on Atlas Shrugged a bit. And if you've never seen that, there are plenty of YouTubers. That's actually, I think, how I found Quantum of Conscience, Matt, in the beginning, was when he did the videos and covered Atlas Shrugged. I don't know if he still has them. He like started a new channel. Like right when I started to watch him, everyone did that. It was weird. Anyway, if he still has those up, you should check them out. The origin of the character John Galt. And if you don't know who that is, I'm certainly not going to tell you because I still am not sure I understand. Okay, so they use references from H.P. Lovecraft, a lot of this occult, the Cthulhu mythos, the Necronomicon, all of his books. So we'll go on. Reviews and reputation, we don't need that. All right, let's move to, where are we? How far did we get? All right, now let's see if I can go back. Give me a minute. All right, now we're going to go down here a bit. Okay, so the game came out in 81. All right. The player takes the role of the Illuminati societies that struggle to take over the world. The Pocket Box edition depicted 6 Illuminati groups, of course. The Bavarian Illuminati, the Discordian Society, the UFOs, the Servants of Cthulhu, the Bermuda Triangle, and the Gnomes of Zurich. Okay, so the game is a little different. The deluxe edition added the Society of Assassins and the Network, and the Illuminati Y2K expansion added the Church of the Subgenius and Shangri-La. The aim of the game is fulfilled when the Illuminati build a power structure consisting of given number of cards, dependent on the number of players. The world is represented by group cards such as Secret Masters of Fandom, the CIA, the International Communist Conspiracy, Evil Geniuses for a Better Tomorrow, California, and many more. There are over 300 official cards available. Every group and Illuminati has some power, resistance, and income values. Most of the world groups have an alignment. The game is written with the usual SJG humor. The game uses a multitude of conspiracy theory and jokes with cards such as the Boy Sprouts, where sinister youth leaders influence the world leaders of tomorrow. Gee, that sounds kind of like what we're dealing with in the Department of Education right now, and sending the tablets home and spying on everybody and spying on your neighbors. The orbital mind control lasers, okay. The Mafia, two-headed anti-nuke activists, or Trekkies. Wow, that's wild. Special cards represent unexpected phenomena and features, for example, increasing income or resistance of a group. A second edition was released in 2018. Gee, imagine that, when life got a little weird. Featuring some updated groups that reference more recent pop culture and events. Can we not? Why is there no link to that one? Can we just look at that one? You're not going to show us updated groups? Like, show us so we know like what's going on now. The game is played in turns. The primary Illuminati player activity is taking control of all of the groups. Other types of attacks are attacks to neutralize. Okay, just like I said, they eat each other in the end. It's like whoever can absorb the most people and whoever is there at the end, right? Like musical chairs. We've talked about all this before. Game of Thrones. Tactics such as playing opponents off each other, backstabbing, and concealing your true motives are encouraged in this game. In one variant of the game, players are allowed to cheat, steal money from the table. Gee, kind of like how our congressmen and women are allowed to gamble. on the stock market, you mean that? Or past bills of their buddies that they are like on the board of, that they stand to make a lot of money of, if that product, I don't know, gets FDA approval and is put on shelves? You mean kind of like that? This is just for entertainment, right? This game isn't real. And do anything it takes to win. During an attack to take control, the attacker must overcome the resistance of attack groups with combined power of his groups, affected by alignment of attacker and attacked. So it's just like Dungeons and Dragons. If you've never played an RPG game, I honestly, no offense, I don't want to explain it all to you right now. Expansions. I want to see the 2018 one he was just talking about, yo. Like, why can I? Available expansion sets are Illuminati Mutual Assured Distraction from 2010, Illuminati Bavarian Fire Drill, 27, Illuminati Y2K, 1999, Illuminati Brainwash, 1985. Wow. Kind of like how we're having a lot of issues now with people who have been brainwashed, possibly. So related games, Flying Buffalo, never heard of that one. Hacker. They should definitely put Cards Against Humanity on here. Reception. Okay. I wanted to see the extension there. But I think this is long enough for the video I was trying to do. I wanted to expose those who have not been exposed to the game, to the books, and to show you that a lot of what's happening is allegedly things we're dealing with now. Oh, yes. Not quite done. Let's look at something else. Let's check this out. I just want to see, because I've never seen all of them. I don't know what they all look like. So give me a second, and I just want to, let me know, I've explained in order. Game, all cards. All right, fine. Just show me images, man. I want to see like just give me one with a bunch of thumbnails or something. I don't want to shop, not like this. Oh, you fuckers. Expose, part 3. No shizzle. What's that about? Illuminati playing cards from 1995 exposed, part 3. Oh, and it shows you what went on with Alex Jones, how he wore a mask. You've got Anonymous there. Oh, the Alyssa Lamb mystery. What was that supposed to? Hold up. Because I'm still wondering about that. I just want to. What are we supposed to know? Oh, it's not going to. I can't, like. Nope. Let me go back to the right place. Wow, that's what. Some of these were in there. I just wanted to take a peek at a few rare Illuminati cards. I want to know if there's a few specifically. And I just want to look. Count Dracula. That's what it looked like that Will Smith's kid had on his head, was a black castle. I was trying to figure out what it meant. There it is. Enough is enough. Church of Middle America. They'll never get it, even when the saucers are flying overhead. Any subgenius group that controls the church. Do you see that down here? Church of Middle America. They'll never get it, even when the saucers are flying overhead. They'll never get it. Psychiatrists. Huh. Wow. Some of these are a little. Hillary Clinton. Why she got that rope? I don't want to know. Why she. And see, I want to see the original ones, because why is Plague of Demons a card? That's kind of creepy. Charismatic leader. Yellow hair. That's a real big thing right now, too, the color yellow. We might go over that, because it's the color of a demon, but it's also the color of gold, and God talks about gold in the Bible, and Al Gore, tree hugger. Yeah, we know. Trayvon's father. NASA spying Florida cannibal. No kidding. I didn't know they predicted that. I am just looking to see if there's anything. Plague of demons. This is an instant attack to destroy any place except a huge one. You must spend an action from a magic group. Plague of demons, huh? WW3, there's one. Huh. Wow. Oh, check this out. You see where the mouse is? I'm not going to say that out loud. There we go. And there you see. And see, I don't know about that. I don't know. Like I said, it looked. I don't know if there were any planes involved in that at all. I feel like every time you see a plane, it's telling you something's a lie. Like I'm really wondering about flight travel or air travel now. Like, do people actually do that? Is it real? Do only witches and sorcerers and stuff get to like actually fly? Like, I don't know what's happening. It's just wild. God told me years ago, like, hey, something's about to be up with flying. And I was like, oh, let's talk about that. Okay, so we have, what is that? I don't know how to put in there, like, hey, I want to see if this is there because who knows where we're at right now. These all get played at different times. And that's the problem with a role playing game is that things do get played at different times. What that is and what is that? He's got the blue eyes. And most people of color don't have blue eyes. You think they look silly with their hats and their motor scooters. If you know what those hats really meant, you'd never laugh at anything. Never again. What does the hat really mean? I don't know what it means. No, I really don't. Do I want to know? Should I ask? I'm so naive. All right, let's see if there's anything. What is he holding? Just melted gold? The melted idol? Huh. Contract on America. I'd say we're dealing with that right now. Blinded by science. Yeah, there's a lot of people. The stars are right. Uh-oh, there's the rising of somebody when the stars are right. The Rosicrucians. I actually like what I've read about the Rosicrucians. I don't know. Unmasked. Joggers. Uh-oh, what's going to happen with joggers? Intellectuals? Just say no. Straighten up. WW theory. ML. Oh, wow. Illuminati card game. Immortality serum. I didn't know that was a part of it. I had no clue. Look at Bill Clinton. That's great. And we're just taking a quick look just to peruse. And people laugh, but the flat earthers know something. For their action, you may roll 2 dice. The flat earthers' weird alternate geology has led them to a gold strike, and you may draw as many plot cards as the number as you rolled. So by knowing that the earth was flat, they got gold. Okay, again, maybe my naivete there is killing me, but I don't know. Unmasked, which is so right now and yesterday and tomorrow probably. I love how the Pentagon looks like a maze or a labyrinth. Like that's always struck me as bizarre. And it's the shape of a house. So what is it telling you? Vatican City. Oh no. Your whole power structure is immune to attacks from peaceful groups. Okay. Different. Foreign aid. We've got aliens there. Uh-oh. Carefully orchestrating the media, you create an insane groundswell of anger, blaming the wealthy and powerful for anything. Eat the rich. Okay. Corruption, we all know that. Vegas. Gee. Liberal agenda. That looks like Woody Harrelson. That's funny. Tape runs out. Oh shit. Shoot. When the rapture comes, I'll make them wait. They'll never clean my cage. Now give me some more of. The tape runs out. Good try. Too bad something went wrong. Huh? When the rapture comes, I'll make them wait. They'll never clean my cage. Now give me some more of. Is that a song? What is that? Huh. The weird turn pro. No kidding. We've seen that word everywhere now, haven't we? The weird. And then Dionysus. And then the weird turn pro, as in like the Olympics. Bizarre, guys. Really bizarre. I'm going to do this for another minute or two, and then I'm going to bounce. Oh, wow. Prince Charles. I didn't know he had a card. Media connections. Telephone psychics. Okay. Clipper chip. What is that? All government groups in your power structure gain the ability to listen in on phone conversations worldwide, only for legitimate law enforcement, of course. Clipper chip. Wow. So that was like Edward Snowden. The screaming meme. Oh my gosh, that's like the liberal people. Like when they started freaking out, like, the meme. That's great. Are some of these new and they just like add them after the fact? I know the old ones. Like I know the original, most of the original ones. But some of the newer ones, like the add-ons for like the added on editions. Oh, Media Blitz. That's the Harry Potter thing. Huh. And again, I told you to watch the movie The Circle. That's where we're headed with Tom Hanks and Emma. I always forget Thomas. I always forget her last name. Oh, hello. Science fiction, Elon Musk. Anyone that thinks that car was actually in space, like, I'm sorry, but I could do better on my computer with I could do better with my camera and a Matchbox car than that. Like, it was terrible. I think they did use a Matchbox car, to be totally honest. Most people did see that. 1,000 points of light. Oh, and look, you've got the blue collar working with the white collars. Imagine that. Atomic monster. Like, that's a thing. They're making that a thing. Lovely. Oh, hello. Is this new? Hold up. Hold up. We got to check out this will be the end of the video then. We got to check out the foot. Because this is like a big, pun not intended there. This is actually a big part of the agenda, or he is a big part of a lot of things happening. Bigfoot has the power to distract any media group by showing himself in public. So he's their distraction method, they're saying? Interesting. All right, guys. Well, we went pretty deep with that. I hope you enjoyed digging to the origin story of the Illuminati card game. I will dig in a little more, see if there's any other side missions that I can find for that relate to current events, of course. As always, whatever you decide to accept, receive, and believe is truth. That is up to you. I have nothing to do with that. Thank you so much, though, for being here with me. I hope y'all have a blessed night and get some relaxation and enjoy this wild weather. If you were here for the stream yesterday, I'm sorry. Bye, guys.